Ladies, listen, when a man does you wrong, the smartest thing you can do is confuse him. And I'm not talking about mixed signals or childish mind game. No, I'm talking about moving in a way he never saw coming, a version of you he never imagined he would face. Men are used to women reacting emotionally when they mess up. They expect the tears, the yelling, the long paragraphs, the dramatic social media posts. That is the script they've seen 1,000 times. That's what they think you will do. But what they are not prepared for is a woman who refuses to react in the way they predicted. A woman who chooses grace instead of chaos. A woman who meets disrespect with silence and unshakable self-control. That alone will throw a man completely off his game. Because when a man hurts you, your instinct is to respond with emotion. And trust me, I understand. You are upset. You feel betrayed. You want him to feel how deeply he hurt you. But here's the truth. Giving him that emotional reaction, that hands him power. That shows him he still has influence over your heart. And the moment he realizes he can push your buttons and make you react, he thinks he still has you exactly where he wants you. That's why the move that actually confuses him is not reacting, it's responding. Reacting is emotional, instant, raw. Responding is intentional, controlled, powerful. So instead of arguing, you choose silence. Instead of writing a long message explaining what he did wrong, you let your absence speak louder than anything you could ever say. Instead of proving your worth, you remember your worth. You carry yourself like a woman who refuses to be disrespected. And let me tell you something about men. They can handle yelling, they can handle arguments, they can even handle tears, because all of that still means you care enough to fight. But what shakes a man to his core is a woman who steps out of the drama entirely, a woman who walks away with dignity, a woman who doesn't chase, doesn't beg, doesn't engage. That woman is unpredictable. That woman is a mystery. That woman is powerful. Now imagine this. He calls or texts you after hurting you, expecting the usual backs and forth, thinking you'll argue or demand answers. But instead, you respond with calm clarity. Thank you for the clarity you've given me. Take care. And then you move on. No chasing, no questioning, no desperate attempts to fix what he broke. You leave him sitting with your silence. You leave him wondering how you walked away so effortlessly. You leave him overthinking while you focus on yourself. Because here's the truth. Men learn through experience, not explanation. You don't need to tell him what he did wrong 10 times. You don't need to force him to recognize your value. The moment he realizes you're not reacting, that you're rising above instead of engaging, that's when it hits him. Did I just lose something great? And believe me, that realization hits harder than any argument ever could. When a man expects you to crumble after he hurts you, he's already convinced himself that you needed him more than he needed you. He thinks his absence will destroy you. He expects you to fall apart, wait for him, or hope he comes back. What he never expects is for you to rise higher, to glow without him, to become an even better version of yourself. Because he is no longer in your life. That's why the best thing you can do is focus on your glow up, instead of drowning in the pain he caused. Because men operate on ego. They believe they're the center of your world. So when they walk away or do you wrong, they look for signs that their absence left a hole in your life. That's why they stalk your social media. That's why they ask mutual friends about you. That's why they pop up with a just checking in message. They're looking for evidence that you still care, that you're still affected, that you're still waiting. But when he checks in and sees you thriving, not hurting, that confusion hits him hard. This is why you don't waste time trying to make a man regret losing you. You simply make sure That when he looks at your life again, he sees a woman who has leveled up in every possible way. Work on yourself. Go to the gym. Not for revenge, but because you deserve to feel good in your body. Chase your dreams, not to make him jealous, but because your future deserves that energy. Refine your style. Build your confidence. Surround yourself with people who remind you of your value. Because when you invest deeply in yourself, you naturally become the kind of woman who commands respect without needing to say a word. And here's what happens when you glow up. Suddenly, he remembers exactly what drew him to you. He realizes he took something rare for granted. And it's not just the physical change, it's the energy, the peace, the strength, the self-assurance. A woman who knows her worth moves differently, speaks differently, carries herself differently. She doesn't chase love, she attracts it effortlessly. And when he sees that you've fully detached from the idea that he was essential to your happiness, he won't know how to handle it. This is why the glow-up is powerful. It's not about him, it's about you. About elevation instead of pain. About choosing yourself rather than proving anything to anyone. Because nothing is more attractive than a woman who is unbothered, unapologetic, and unstoppable in her pursuit of a better life. And when a man finally realizes that he was never the source of your happiness, that's when he truly understands what he lost. Men expect drama, they expect anger, they expect emotional breakdowns. They expect proof that they still control your emotions. But when you choose peace, not out of weakness, but out of emotional maturity, you give him the one reaction he is not prepared for. Peace is unsettling to a man who thrives on control. Because when you refuse to give in to the chaos, when you remain calm in the face of disrespect, it forces him to reflect. It forces him to question himself. It forces him to sit with the consequences of his actions. Men don't self-reflect when you yell. They don't take accountability when you chase them. But when you step back, when you detach, when you stop engaging, your silence becomes the teacher. A man will always remember the woman who walked away with dignity. Not the one who begged, not the one who argued, not the one who tried to make him see her worth. The one who removed herself and let her absence speak for her. When you choose peace, you stop being reactive and start being intentional. You stop trying to prove your value and start honoring it. And the moment you do that, you free yourself. You stop trying to fix a man who was never willing to grow. You redirect your energy toward your healing, your happiness, your future. And when he sees you found peace without him, it makes him question everything. Why aren't you angry? Why aren't you chasing? Why aren't you fighting to be heard? Because you've evolved. You've moved on. You've discovered something far greater than his validation. Yourself. And that's when it hits him. He miscalculated everything. By the time he realizes he lost a good woman, you've already become a great one. Because time is precious. You don't waste it on people who don't value you. And when you reclaim your time, energy, and love from the wrong person, you create space for the right one to walk into your life. That is when you truly win. But the biggest mistake people make after being hurt is believing that revenge brings closure. That hurting them back will make you feel whole again. But revenge doesn't heal you. It doesn't fix anything. It keeps you tied to the very person who broke you. And the longer you stay attached to that energy, the longer you delay your own healing. Because the real flex is peace, not because you're weak. Not because you're pretending you weren't hurt. But because you know your energy is too valuable to waste on someone who didn't deserve it. When you choose peace, you take back control. You reclaim your power. You protect your mental and emotional well-being. You walk away without carrying resentment. And That is what truly confuses a person who thought they had the power to hurt you. People expect pettiness, they expect bitterness, they expect drama, they expect emotional explosions. That's what they're ready for. But when you don't react, when you don't engage, when you don't let their actions shift your energy, that's when they start questioning everything. They wonder why nothing they did bothered you, why you're not trying to prove a point, why you're not drowning in the chaos they once dragged you into. And that's when they finally understand they never had as much control over you as they thought. Choosing peace isn't about ignoring your feelings. It isn't about pretending you didn't hurt. It's about choosing yourself. Choosing healing over hatred. Choosing growth over revenge. Choosing a future instead of holding on to a past that no longer serves you. Because at the end of the day, true power isn't in getting even. True power is in walking away from what no longer deserves you and never looking back. When you move like that, when you choose peace instead of pain, when you choose growth instead of revenge, when you choose yourself instead of chasing someone who was never meant to stay, you don't just move on, you rise. You step into a version of yourself that is stronger, wiser, softer, and yet more powerful than anything you've ever been before. You become the woman who doesn't need to be chosen because she chooses herself. The woman who doesn't beg for respect because she carries it within her. The woman who doesn't chase love because she attracts everything aligned with her worth. And here's the beautiful part. Once you reach that level, you will look back and realize that losing them was never the loss, it was the lesson. Your peace is the prize, your self-worth is the upgrade, your healing is the transformation, and the woman you become after you pick yourself back up, she is untouchable, she is unforgettable, she is unstoppable, because a woman who chooses herself cannot lose. Put your crown back on and let the world adjust to the woman you've become.